Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I wanted to make a separate video here because some people, might have missed it. You might skim through the Raw review and you might not hear me talk about the Jim the Anvil Neidhart passing. So I'm going to make a separate video right here. So Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away a few days ago. And, it's very sudden. It was on Monday, by the way. And it's shocking to say the very least. The guy was only 62 years old. You don't expect these wrestlers to pass away, but there's just something about. I don't know if it's like kind of like the celebrity thing. It's like when a few wrestlers die, there's always going to be another one within a few days, and that's been the same thing, for celebrities, the past couple of years. I don't think that we realize it though, but there's always like a few celebrities that die each year. It's either due to old age, drug use, or something like that. Um, but Jim the Anvil Neidhart, it was none of that. The cause of death hasn't been issued yet. But whatever the case may be, I mean, we just want to remember Jim the Anvil Neidhart and all the great memories we have of him. And not, obviously, like two things come to mind right away. It's the Hart Foundation tag team that everybody always talks about. I mean, they were one of the great teams, and Bret the Hitman Hart owes a lot of his success to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I mean, if Jim wasn't there with him, he would have had a harder time getting over. Standing next to this imposing figure, Jim had just as much in Bret getting over, as Bret owes to himself. So you have to take note on that. Now, as we got into the 90s, WWE was kind of fucking up with Jim. They put him under a mask. I remember watching, like, on Superstars, The Undertaker had like a squash match with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. It's featured on the Phenom DVD. If anybody remembers that VHS they released back in the day, and they also ported it onto a DVD as well. It's the one with old school Undertaker with the old hat and the purple glove. Um, like the proctologist glove. Anyway, the to see Jim in that situation, especially when you kind of look at some of the other superstars that were present at the time, he deserved a little bit better. He returned to prominence though in 1997 when he was a part of the Hart Foundation. They kind of resurrected the old Jim, and that was a lot of that led to a lot of fun moments. The Hart Foundation, it's kind of sad that the ratings really weren't that great around that time in 1997. That's kind of like when Russo started writing for them, and the Attitude Era really started to take hold. But there was a lot of great moments with the Hart Foundation that a lot of people didn't get to see due to the ratings. So, that stuff's on the network now, which is great. It's awesome to look back at it when they're all working as heels, especially after seeing, Jim working that as long as he did as a face. It was good to see him, kind of try something new for a change. And the other thing I really got to say is that when you look at Jim the Anvil Neidhart, you see a wrestler, first and foremost. You see the big long goatee. You see the power lifter physique. You know right away that Jim the Anvil Neidhart is a wrestler. This guy looks like he could kick your ass. He looks like he could do some major damage to you. And when you look at the current roster right now, and you see the Seth Rollinses of the world, and you see the Sami Zayns and the Finn Balor's, you kind of look and you say, what happened to the Jim the Anvil Neidharts? I said this about Vader. Everybody always attacks me, when I say that, like, Jim the Anvil Neidhart was a heavier wrestler. But people always attack me all the time when I say, I talk about Samoa Joe and his weight. And I think I mentioned this in my Vader video. The difference between someone like Vader and Neidhart compared to Samoa Joe or Kevin Owens is that those guys are just fat. Vader and Jim the Anvil Neidhart were power lifters. You know, these, and I believe they even competed on some level. I know that Vader did. I'm not sure about Jim. But, you know, there's a clear difference. These guys work out. The others don't. So that's, you know, why I go so hard on those guys. And I leave Vader and Neidhart and many others out of the conversation. In case anyone is wondering, there's a clear difference between just sitting around and eating than actually, you know, maybe eating a lot to fuel yourself for a workout, because these guys are putting up massive weight. I mean, do you realize how much a guy like Vader and Neidhart benched? I don't think a lot of people understand what goes into that. You know, and I see that there's a lot of misinformation about people, like also, you know, when it comes to steroids. You know, people just think, oh, you know, you just stick a needle in your arm and, oh, you know, you just all of a sudden just fucking pop out muscles like Johnny Bravo style. Doesn't work that way. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, no one, you know, Vader, you know, he wasn't able to bench that much just by sitting around and eating Oreos. You know what I'm saying? You give Samoa Joe, you know, a 600-pound bench press to do, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to get all that weight up. You know, it's a lot about technique, and it's a lot about training your body for that sort of activity. So that's the difference right there. So just want to clear that up, you know, just in case, because I know there's probably going to be some people attacking me and everything for that. So anyway, guys, rest in peace, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Thank you for all the memories, and thank you guys for watching. Until next time.